Last week I was here on this channel going through my scrap yarn stash and trying to assign some projects to the random skeins of yarn that I have just laying around. This week I'm not feeling super creatively motivated, so I'm gonna do a little project sort of mini series here where I'm gonna see how many really simple projects that I can make by just making a rectangle. Let's get started today by making a hat out of just a rectangle. Yes! To make this hat, I'm going to be following this tutorial. I've been watching a lot of her videos lately and I came across this really simple hat tutorial that she did. I know that she wasn't the original creator of this hat, and she mentioned in the video that she found it somewhere on TikTok. As many of you know, because I've mentioned it before in previous videos, I did make a hat earlier this year and I really don't like it, so I'm going to take this opportunity to actually crochet a hat and see if I like the crocheted hat look a little bit better. To make this project, I have this leftover Lion Brand Heartland acrylic yarn, which is in the color of Yosemite. I have just under a full skein here, so we're going to see if I have enough to make this project, and if I don't, I will pivot to a different color and start again and use this for something else. But I think this burnt orange color is a perfect color to make a hat with, so I'm very excited to get started. So I have my yarn here, and for this project I'm going to be using my 5.5mm needle. This yarn does recommend a 6mm, however I just don't really think that's necessary, and I'm going to size down because I just feel like it. So I'm going to start by chaining 38 because that's what she chains in the video and her hat looks good to me. So we're going to see how that goes, and then if it doesn't fit properly we can make another hat in the future. I have 38 chains here and I'm going to chain one extra at the end just to accommodate our turning chain row. So I have 39 total chains now on my hook. The cool thing about this project is that it's worked entirely flat and it's worked sideways. So this is going to be the edge of our hat and this chain represents the height of the hat. And we're basically just going to be crocheting a sheet in a rectangle, and it's going to make the circumference of the hat that we will eventually seam together to make a hat. So now I'm going to move on to just doing single crochets into all of my chains, and we will be back at the end of the row. Here are 38 single crochet chains. To turn, I'm just going to chain one, and for this project we're just doing single crochets into the back loops. So it looks like in the tutorial that she counts the turning chain as a stitch, but I personally don't really like doing that, so I'm going to modify it a little bit by single crocheting into the first stitch anyway. I'm gonna go through the back loop and I'm gonna literally do that all the way down the chain, just going in through the back loops and doing single crochets. As usual, I'm sitting on my floor and the cat has decided to come join me. Hi cat, look at his eyes, they're so pretty. Why are you mad? This is my first full row done here, and I'm literally just going to do this all the way across the hat for a total of 29 rows. This is the amount of rows that she shows in the video, and I'm not going to question it because, again, her hat looks really good, and I'm going to see if it fits me by the end of it, and if not, I will take away some rows or add some more rows in. So I'm not gonna lie, I did get a little bit confused while I was making this because I realized that in the video when she said she did 29 rows, she was counting each ridge of ribbing as a single row, which would be like each back and forth. So while I was making the hat, I ended up doing 72 individual rows, which makes 36 ribbed ridges. I actually don't know in the crochet world if a single row is counted each time you go back and forth or just each time you go from one side to another. And I also can't find a straight answer on Google, so let me know in the comments if you know the answer to this. But I was really confused because when I did 29 individual back and forths, it was like not even a quarter of my head. So I think I figured it out and everything's fine. I spent almost all day working on this hat yesterday, and the good news is that I'm basically done it. The bad news is that I am basically out of yarn. I think it is going to be a little snug at this size, but something I have learned with working with acrylic yarns in the past, especially from when I knit my hat earlier this year, is that acrylic yarns relax a lot when you wash them, and then once it's all done and I throw it in the wash and dry it, it will soften up to the point where it will be comfortable on my head. We'll see, I guess. We are truly manifesting enough yarn to get up the side of the hat with the slip stitches and seam it together. Let's hope for the best. This is the point where I ended on, and I'm just gonna flip the hat, or the rectangle I guess, around like this so that I can get the row that I was working on this side so that I can properly access these stitches so that I can slip them together. In the video, she does all of her slip stitches through the front loops of the chain, so I'm going to be doing that as well, and we're going to be slipping right into the foundation chain, so I'm just going to go right through the top loop here. So to get started, I'm going to just find that first stitch, which is literally where we started, the first slip knot, and just going to pull that right through and slip it, and now I'm just going to go literally all the way up this whole thing. All right, she is seamed all the way up. Yes. So in this last stitch here, I'm gonna just cut it, and I think I'm just gonna weave in this end. This little bump down here, I'm gonna just make it as the top of the hat so it's not visible, but I'm also gonna turn this inside out so that this ridge is on the inside. Ooh. And just pull this out, and then this end will be weaved in. This is what the seamed edge looks like once I flip it inside out. I don't know if I did this entirely correctly because the ridge is pretty obvious, but that will just be the back of the hat, I guess. So I'm not really mad about it. I mean, it looks good. It's just, you know, very clearly a seam. I also realized that I am planning to wear this hat as a folded brim, so I turned it inside out so that I could finish weaving in the end on this side, because then when I fold it up, you're not going to be able to see it. How this hat is finished from here, according to the video, is you just snake yarn all the way around the top of the hat and then pull it closed, and it makes a crown without having to do any decreases. So I'm going to just thread this through a tapestry needle. I don't have a good tapestry needle, I just have this plastic one that came with the Amazon stitch marker set, and you know what, it works good enough for me. So then I'm gonna start here where this ugly kind of bump is and insert my yarn. This is the inside, so I'm gonna be doing it from the inside of it so that when I flip it inside out, you're not gonna see any of this. Just going loosely. I'm gonna pull this like all the way. So I'm just gonna snake loosely through all of the top loops. And this is gonna take a little bit, but I am just going to be patient while I do this and watch my TV show, and it's gonna be great. So now if I did this correctly, I should be able to just pull on these strings and close up the hat, like so. Okay, amazing. I'm just gonna tie a knot in the top of the yarn here, just so I can anchor it. There's a little hole still at the top, which is normal, so at this point I'm just gonna use these ends here to seam up the top of the hat. Just seamed it up. It definitely got a little bit cumbersome at the top, I'm not gonna lie, but now turning it inside out, no holes in the top, great. Okay, well, looks like I made a hat. This is the hat on my head. As expected, it is a pretty tight fit. I know that this yarn softens up a lot with blocking, so I'm gonna get it wet and then throw it in the dryer, and hopefully by the time it's all dry, I will have a nice, perfectly fitting hat that I can enjoy for the rest of the winter. I'll be right back. Well, divas, the hat is now blocked and ready to wear. I have to say, I am so bewildered by how easy this was. This project was light years easier than the hat that I knit earlier in the year, and I can honestly say that I will probably never knit a hat ever again, because this is the easiest thing I have probably ever done. Knitting a hat, especially if you're doing a ribbed hat, you have to worry about knitting and purling and doing crown decreases, and this hat was literally just single crochets all the way. Like, it really is that simple. It was a little bit stiff at first, but now that I've blocked it, it's really soft and really stretchy, and honestly, if someone handed me this and told me it was bought at a store, I would probably believe them. If you enjoyed this video, thank you so much for being here. Please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to stick around, where I will be doing some more Sprout projects in the future to bust through my scrap yarn stash. Also, if you are a queer person or just a fierce ally who likes to consume queer content, I hope that you'll stick around and subscribe, because I would be most happy to have you. Anyway, bye!